welcome to a very special edition of The Untold. I'm still waiting on my co-host Hussein to come here. He's a bit late. However, today's show is going to be different. He will be my guest, and
I made it.
He made it. Okay.
All right.
Here's my guest.
I am
Hussein
the guest
El Ajouz,
today.
the amazing Hussein El Ajouz.
Thank you so much. I missed the amazing part. So much.
Yes, exactly.
It's been a while, right?
Are you ready for your interview?
No, are you ready for the interview?
Well, mine will be after, but yours is first. Right
Yes, it
after
is.
this, we'll interview Hussein El Ajouz. All right, we're back on The Untold. This is going to be different. Kind of weird, but it'll be fun.
Feel
I
free.
promise you.
Have fun.
It'll be fun. Hussein El Ajouz,
ALMazeedi.
you're a television personality, podcaster.
Yeah.
But let's dive into your world.
Yeah.
You're a psychology major.
Yeah.
Working in marketing.
Absolutely.
Let's start with, out of high school, what got you into psychology?
Good question. I think one of the common things we saw on this show is that we asked a lot of our guests why they got into their field, and the one word I heard a lot is coincidence, and that's always my favorite answer because it reflects the same into my life. When I went to school, I actually never planned to do psychology. I don't think I even knew what psychology meant, to be honest, back then. I was very young, but I did see a trend. I was very good in biology. And then, but I was always brainwashed to become a businessman because we had a family business, and I was always, talked to by my dad. You kind of
The family business being marketing.
advertising, advertising and marketing agency.
Okay.
So it was always that fight between I'm good at biology, but I know I'm gonna work in an advertising business.
So why bother in psychology?
It was literally coincidence. I was literally scrolling down on this website where you choose your majors.
Oh.
And then I saw this major called psychology with business management, and I just stopped for a minute and I kind of thought to myself, just like the previous guest said, it's like I felt this is my calling. Like this is speaking to me, and I was like, okay, let's just do it. I jumped into it. The first year was very, very challenging, but I passed. The second year, I remember the end of the year, I went to my professor. Her name was Mrs. Margaret. I was like, Margaret, listen, I'll be honest. There's no way I'm passing this. I'm definitely failing. And I passed. Then to third year, and I approached her again, and I told her the exact same sentence, and then I passed. And then I did my thesis, and here I am. So it was literally a beautiful coincidence that ended up becoming my field.
But are you working in psychology?
No.
But
I
nothing
think,
at all.
Not at all, but I think the work
You can use psychology in your job.
I do.
Right?
But I use psychology more in. I think psychology did me a great favor into being more self-aware. I'll be honest. So if I did work on psychology, but not in physical work. It was actually more mental work towards understanding myself. And as a result, that kind of like spilled over into work, essentially, which is emotional intelligence, being able to understand yourself and other people.
Okay. And how did we get this huge podcast show called Inspire?
So Inspire is actually it's literally my little baby. That's what I call it. I love Inspire because Inspire was actually built out of again coincidences. It's a build-up of coincidences that happened over time.
Right.
That started all the way when I came to Kuwait in 2019. And if you want to actually hear a long story short, I came to Kuwait. I started like a public speaking workshop that had nothing to do with podcasting. And I started inviting people, coaching them on how to public speak and so on. And then COVID came and changed the game.
Right.
So when COVID came, everyone was going live on Instagram. So I thought, why not follow the trend? I was one of those people.
I see.
I went live on Instagram.
I was doing different things during
I
COVID.
was always live. I was always live on Instagram.
Okay.
And then I got bored of that. And then one of my friends posts his own podcast episode. I was like, okay, this is definitely a new adventure. Why not? Literally, I wrote down a few notes, did a little bit of research, then walked down to the nearest shop. I was like, listen, give me the cheapest mic that you have. And I got this mic that turns red when you record.
Okay.
And I'd go back home, cover myself with a blanket.
Why?
And because to stop the echo. I didn't know much about podcasting.
Right.
And I remember I was sitting in a random coffee shop, and this guy sitting beside me, who became now a friend. He's a stranger.
Right.
He's reading a book called The Art of Gathering.
The Art of Gathering.
That's the book. Literally, that's the book he was reading. I looked at it. I was like, you know what? I approached him. I was like, excuse me. And he's like, yes. I was like, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I just have a question. He's like, what? I was like, I have a podcast. and I have so many names, all right? And I have empowerment, enrichment, inspiration, but I have this name called Inspire with an E. I don't know, it sounds weird.
He's
like,
telling it to you?
No, I'm telling him
Oh,
my
okay, yeah.
thoughts.
Yeah.
But then he's like, oh, why is it Inspire with an E? Is it because it's empowerment and inspiration? I was like, oh my God, that's a good
my
idea.
God, that just hit
Wrote
gold.
it down and I stamped it. That's it. That's
Amazing.
literally the birth of Inspire.
You should trademark it.
Well, one day.
One day.
And now it became just a space to share truthful stories of people.
I love it. I love it.
Influential people, not influencers.
And how was doing the show? Your first guest?
The podcast.
Yeah.
I think one of the most beautiful episodes, because I've had many seasons, and the seasons were solo, me speaking solo.
Right.
The one episode that I can never forget is the one with my dad. I started the podcast with my dad because season 1 across to 3, like all the way to season 3 or 4 almost, it was always audio only. And even if it was video, I was always talking about Hussein.
Right.
And Hussein would always talk about stories that came up from his dad. So I
So
thought,
might as well bring the guy.
100%. So
Right.
I thought season 5, which is audio video, I was like, you know what? I literally approached
I'm
him. I
sorry,
was
how
like,
many seasons did you have?
Five.
Wow.
Well, not many.
Okay.
It sounds fancy, but
Yeah.
not many episodes.
Okay.
But like when I went to my dad, I was like, listen, how about we record the episode? And my dad was like, what? And
What?
because he's always watching me, but he's never part of it.
Yeah.
And then we had a very beautiful episode.
Amazing.
Very heart to
Amazing.
heart, son to dad.
Speaking of your father, was
Yeah.
there any pressure from the family that you do have to work in the family business?
No. I remember my mom, who I think is very inspirational. I did realize this up until a later age, actually, because she doesn't work. She's a housewife, and she approached me before going to uni. She looked at me in the eye. She was like, listen, a piece of advice. She's like, I need you to go to uni and forget that your dad has a business.
Oh,
And
that's
I was
amazing.
like- I
That's
was
a
like-
great piece of advice, actually.
I was like, why would you say that? And she was like, I need you to get your degree, work really hard on it, build yourself, just because in case that business evaporates,
Right.
you're a
You
self-made
have
person.
something to fall back on.
100%.
I love that
So,
advice.
so yeah, I think, in fact, I think they gave me the freedom. And in fact, I actually went to Dubai after graduation. I didn't even come back to Kuwait.
I see.
I worked in Dubai. And then I made a personal choice
To
that
come
I
here.
want to work on
What
this
did you do
legacy.
in Dubai?
Media.
Media. Okay.
Sales.
Sales.
Hated it.
Now you know.
Now
you
I know.
right?
You never know until you try.
Yeah. There's, you can have bad experiences in life, but you learn from them.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Fall forward.
And your life has been pretty much in Kuwait. Born and raised in Kuwait?
Born and raised in Kuwait.
How was that life for you in Kuwait?
I think I was just talking about this yesterday. I think my friends and I had almost the best childhood. We were born in such a beautiful, beautiful childhood. We were just a humble childhood, and we were always. I made a really, really good group of friends that are actually friends until this day. So it's a group of us, like 6 people, and we were born and raised in the same building, and that kind of was a big part of being.
So you
in
had
Kuwait.
a fun childhood.
Yeah, so we're like literally 6
Playing
people.
around, being kids.
Known each other for 27 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the experience has been beautiful, honestly.
That's amazing.
And, just left for uni and came back.
Well, obviously now we're doing the show together.
Yes.
Where do you see Hussein in the future? What is Hussein gonna do next?
Good question. I think I am a dreamer.
Yes.
And more than a dreamer, I like to say I like to do things. I don't like to talk about things. I don't know. The big question, should you have a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan? I don't have it.
I'm not asking necessarily
I know,
about that,
I know.
but like, what do you hope to do?
There is a vision. There's a vision.
To share that vision with us.
So the vision is actually going to sound weird. So do you know Kevin Hart?
Sure.
Okay.
Hi,
So-
Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
Yeah.
Who surely is watching.
Yeah,
So
of course.
Kevin Hart has a obviously a stand-up comedian.
Right.
So if you go on YouTube, you can watch one of his shows. And one of his shows, he did them. I'm not sure. I think it's a US. It's this stage, all right, that was in the middle, and people were not in front of him.
Oh, yeah.
So he was surrounded by people
360.
360.
Yeah.
When I watched that show, I remember very well. I paused the video and I looked at that
It was a
one
stadium
frame.
show almost, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I paused that 1 second. I stopped it. I stopped the video and I actually literally stared at it. And I don't know, for some reason, I just looked at myself. I was like, you know what? I would hope that one day I can get to a point where I can stand up on such a stage and try
talk to so many people.
to not just talk, to actually impact people.
Impact people.
I think over the years I learned that there's a big difference between talking and speaking.
Right.
And I just wanted to get to a point where I can actually talk and say
the
proper
person,
things and impact people.
There's something about you in public speaking.
Yeah.
You've done a TEDx talk.
Yeah, I have.
You continuously do
Yeah.
public speaking
I tried.
jobs.
Yeah.
What is the goal there? Is impacting people,
Impacting people.
changing
It's
people's
just-
lives.
I absolutely admire and love taking a challenge on stage. The last time I went, I spoke at an engineering company in Kuwait. And I remember before I go, they warned me. They were like, listen, those people, they don't laugh a lot, they don't smile a lot, they're very serious.
Okay.
And they asked me actually one very, very brave question.
What?
They looked at me, they were like, how old are you? I was like 27. They were like, why would a CEO that has had 35 years of experience, is literally in his 50s, 60s, why would he listen to you?
Big question.
Big question.
But makes sense.
I looked at them and I was like, you know what? With full confidence, not arrogance. I looked at them. I was like, put me on stage. That's all I said. I was like, put me on stage.
And you will see.
I mean, you know what? Because I think people will always mistake your confidence for arrogance, but I think I wanted to be that confident with them. And when I went on stage, I remember very well. I literally went on stage because I was speaking naturally, because I was being myself. I made people laugh. I broke the ice. So the challenges that people faced me with them, that they don't laugh, they can't take you seriously, and so on. I made sure that I proved to them that I can do something different. I love being on stage and being able to say something and see people's faces almost light up when they're hearing you. And I love taking feedback on spot as well, because you can easily take feedback on spot, and when you get better at it, you start to fix your speech on spot.
Yeah.
Almost. Takes some time.
You're obsessed. You're kind of obsessed about this.
I'm kind of obsessed with it.
Kinda.
I probably am. Probably am.
Okay.
Yeah.
And anything else in the future other than that, reaching that kind of stage?
All right. So I think the future is very, very, again, ambitious, whether it's public speaking or work.
Are there different shows you hope to do?
Inspire will always be the little babe.
The little babe.
The little babe.
The little babe.
I am part of this show now with you. I don't think I should do more shows, because I believe I have to focus somewhere. For the longest time, I just thought that the more I do, the better, because it felt good, kind of like feeling productive. But then I realized I was just killing my time.
You talk about inspiration.
Yeah.
Who inspires you, though?
Definitely. It's a very easy answer. It's definitely my dad. But I think that answer is getting...
Didn't even think about it.
I didn't need to, because I think I don't want to use the answer anymore. I'll be honest with you. Because I've been using this answer for the longest time. My cousin once told me something that's going to sound very deep. And he said, I asked him this question. I was like, who inspires you? He's like, myself yesterday. I was like, wow. I was like, wow. But you know what? I'll be honest. I know it sounds deep and cliche, but I love deep and cliche.
Yeah.
Because
you wrote the book on it.
my dad is my inspiration. But then again, I cannot owe everything to something external or someone external for my life.
Right.
At some point, I need to look into the mirror and be like, I am my own inspiration, kind of thing, and associate my future with my own self and my ambition. My dad is just supporting me along the way.
Talking with you, getting to know you over the past few months, doing these shows, I see a lot of passion
Thank you.
in you.
Thanks.
What is the driving force behind that, you would say? You're so driven.
I don't know. It's just, I think, a simple answer, actually. I'm the youngest in the family. The age
Does
difference...
that put pressure on you?
No. You learn a lot from your siblings. So my sister is hitting 43.
Wow.
I am 27.
MashaAllah.
The third youngest, third eldest, whatever, is my brother, who's 39.
So what happened? Age gap between you and your siblings.
What happened is that, and this is only one factor, of course. One of the most influential factors was the fact that I'm the youngest person, because I was able to see them at a young age and see what they're doing in their lives, and I was able to learn on the spot. And every time I did anything in my life, I always felt the need to literally go the extra mile. Because I was always proving...
I respect that.
I was always trying to prove to my family that I can do something. Up until the age of 24, 25, that I was like, you know what? It's enough proving anything to anyone. It's time to prove to myself. But there's always... Hussein always has that person, the other version of Hussein ahead of him that he's trying to chase.
I love it.
And I just try to chase him. And sometimes along the way, I really have to fall many times. But as they say, 4/7, stand up 8.
Right.
You always have to.
Yeah. Amazing. And as I usually do with closing up with a guest, any final words or tips of advice, inspiring words from the great inspirational Hussein El Ajouz?
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'll just keep it fair, straight, and simple. A lot of people that I talk to ask the same question. It's like, what is the one secret advice?
Right.
It's very simple. It's actually putting yourself and exposing yourself, and I think risk being seen.
Okay.
Like, you cannot do something if you're going to sit in your room and talk about it.
Fair.
I am sure you can do a lot of things, but perhaps if you want to put one resolution for yourself, that by the end of the year, just change the can to I did. Because of the big difference between sitting in a room.
Change the can to I did.
That's my own advice.
I love that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I love that. With that, we're going to welcome our next guest right after this.
Yourself.
This guy.
And here we are with the most exciting part of this episode.
Why is this the most exciting part?
Because it's your part. It's time for me to actually ask you all the questions I've always wanted to ask you.
Oh, really?
All right, so Ahmed, I think we've been sitting beside each other for a while. You asked me all your questions, which are great questions. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I'm going to treat this like a little chat, conversation.
Okay.
Let's assume I was walking on the road, okay, and I met you randomly, just in a supermarket. I was like, hey, what's your name? You're like, Ahmad. Oh, nice, ALMazeedi, what do you do? And so I was like, who are you? If you had to you're in a supermarket, you have to answer very quickly. You have to be on the roll. What would you say?
It's a filmmaker. It's just the basic.
So who are you? You're a filmmaker.
Yeah.
That's how you
simple
identify
because
yourself.
you want something
Yeah,
simple.
no, I like it. So you identify yourself as a filmmaker.
Right.
Not director, not producer. It's just you chose
filmmaker is
filmmaker.
an umbrella for all these things, like
Right.
director, writer, whatever you want to be.
Okay.
But in terms of you're making a film, you're contributing to a project.
Yeah.
In terms of directing, producing, or
So it's kind of an umbrella
writing.
to you're a creative, essentially.
Well, yeah. Try
So-
to be. Hopefully.
Obviously, people that are watching might not know this, but you do a lot of things in the filmmaking creative field, and you're someone with a huge passion. The same way I'm passionate about the inspirational side,
Right.
you're definitely someone that's very passionate about the filmmaking side, and you actually have a lot of experiences in it. One of the most shocking experiences that I like about you is that you started on YouTube very, very early, right? So tell me more about your journey, not just the YouTube. Tell me about Ahmad's journey and why would Ahmad today answer, I'm a filmmaker?
Well, simply put, ever since I was young, as far back as I can remember, I fell in love with the idea of telling stories, and I say this every time, telling stories with a camera.
Nice.
You know, how to connect with the audience, sharing my vision of the world, sending messages. As you said, you want to impact people.
Yeah.
With my shows or movies or whatever I'm trying to work on, I try to have a purpose,
Yeah.
a message.
Yeah.
And if I can influence one person watching, then I've completed my job.
That's kind of like the goal of any movie, short movie,
A
documentary, and so on.
meaningful one, not, you know, some of them are just for making money. You know?
Well, I mean, does every videographer or filmmaker usually start that way, where they want to create something impactful and then suddenly something happens and they shift towards the making money side? Or is it that you have gone through a specific experience that makes you someone that's literally so giving?
The part about making money comes from the studios because they talk about numbers.
Yeah.
But a way to sincerely or to actually succeed, it's better to have, do the big blockbuster thing, but have a message in it. You know, all these MCU movies we watch, all these big superhero movies we watch, they still have messages in them, right?
Yeah.
You know, saving people,
Of
sacrifice.
course.
They have these noble, essential messages to get across in the movie.
But is Ahmed looking to perhaps echo a message of society or a message of Ahmed to the world? Like of Ahmed, of something about you?
There are certain experiences. I write from the heart. I write about the experiences I've went through rather than imaginary. But I would get the fiction side into the real part, and that's where you create something beautiful. And when you write from the heart, it touches people's hearts, and it just grows. and you never know where it could lead to.
Okay, and so going back in time, what was your starting points in this field? Like, I mean, obviously you're talking about it as a huge field, but it's not
Right.
gonna come randomly in your life, right?
Right.
So what have you done, in your opinion, what was the first step?
First step was, like you said, the YouTube thing.
Yes.
13 years ago.
That's shocking, to be honest.
2010, when not a lot of people were actually YouTubers.
Barely, yeah.
YouTuber was not even a term maybe at that time.
It really wasn't. No, honestly,
Yeah.
13 years ago, I
And
definitely was not on YouTube.
It wasn't anything special. It wasn't polished. It was me getting whatever camera I could get at that time with being a middle school student.
Yeah.
Sound quality was bad, but what it did do for me was develop my skills.
Okay.
I wouldn't be here sitting with you if I didn't do those YouTube videos for so long.
But at such a young age, I mean, how old were you again?
I was 14.
So you're 14 years old, sitting in your room, and obviously you have friends outside. You could easily go out and play some
Right.
football. I don't know, go to the gym. I don't know, play on the sand, do anything. But you're there deciding that, hey, listen, let me just grab a camera and shoot something for YouTube.
I was very obsessed with late night shows.
Okay.
And I wanted to host my own, so I made my makeshift late night themed show on YouTube, and it didn't get any great views or anything. But
Does
again,
that matter?
Maybe it did to a 14-year-old.
For a 14-year-old, fair
For a
enough.
14-year-old,
Yeah.
it did.
Yeah.
But what I didn't realize,
Yeah.
the development of my skills throughout the years. When I entered uni as a filmmaker,
Yeah.
coming in with experience rather than the other students
course.
just joining in because they
course.
love the field and they want to learn now.
Yeah.
I come in with editing experience. So
Wow.
that's what I had getting into film school.
But I mean, being in a culture, okay, so when you're part of a community and you have a lot of friends and you have that kind of like, you have the cool people, the cool kids. Back when we were very young and we had these terms that we
Right.
used to run around in school.
Right.
But then there's that kid that's being active on social media, that's posting videos, and above all, you're showing your face and you're actually
Right.
showing yourself. You're
Yeah,
literally,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I saw
Was
your
I
videos.
bullied? Was I ridiculed at school? Sure.
But
Did it affect me? No.
how not?
Not gonna say I'm built from
You could say it.
stone,
I mean,
but
you can say it.
it's just I don't let these kind of comments affect me because I am
Okay.
passionate about this thing.
Okay.
And I see my future in this field. They see it as, oh, he's trying to get views. He's just wasting his time. He's doing silly things.
Yeah.
But I'm here now.
What do you feel you learned from that first video you posted on social media over time?
From the first video I posted on YouTube,
If you look at it now, I mean, I'm sure sometimes you come across it. When you look at it, what
I
do you tell
cringe
yourself?
very hard. Okay, that's
Yeah.
number one.
Yeah.
And then just like thinking, like, why did I talk about this thing? Why did I do this thing that way?
It's like
But at
journaling,
the
bro.
end, I am grateful for that journey.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be the place I'm at without it.
You know
I
what I
don't
would do?
think so.
What I would do if I was you? I would go back on social media. I would bring back my first ever YouTube video and I would recreate it.
And what?
I would recreate it. And the Ahmad's experience today.
That is a goal of mine, to bring that show back to life in a studio setting. And we never know when that might happen.
So jumping across life, you created your first video.
Yeah.
You made yourself very proud, and then you went to uni.
Yes, I pursued cinema and television arts at
Yes.
Cal State University Northridge in
Yeah.
California,
Yeah.
in LA basically, and I got a degree in filmmaking.
And you did make a movie, a short
Yes,
movie.
I made a short film there. I was fortunate to be chosen out of 24 students to do my senior thesis.
Nice.
And then after we shot it, they have this annual showcase.
Yeah.
And again, it was selected for the showcase. So I'm very grateful for my experience at CSUN, to all my professors,
That's
to
very nice.
all my
very
colleagues,
nice.
students
Yeah.
there, everyone that helped me on the project. I'm very grateful. Could not have done it without each and every single one of you.
And did Ahmed perhaps achieve that goal of wanting to impact at least one viewer through that short film?
With that film, I feel
Yeah.
like I did, and I would like to continue on that path. Doing these shows might not necessarily. This show has messages.
Yeah.
I love this show.
Yeah, exactly.
Some other shows what I do is just for fun.
Yeah.
See, when I do over under,
Yeah.
segueing into my
Yeah.
other show,
No, fair enough.
it reminds me of my YouTube days because I
Nice.
would review movies a lot,
Mm.
and that felt natural to do that on Over Under and as well as on Clack It, just talking about movies. But I'm continually doing these things because I just love them.
Okay.
I'm not like it's just a huge part of me that loves those things.
I see some. I've interviewed some filmmaker on my podcast once, and I remember he was talking about his movie, big movie. It's like an hour-long movie and so on. And I always wondered, what does a director or filmmaker have to go through in order to actually make a piece of art like that? And I know if you can briefly take me through it, because I'm
Right.
sure a lot of viewers are wondering.
Yeah,
Because you're someone very young and you
Right.
did a short movie.
right.
What's the behind the scenes?
First thing you need to know, it takes a village to create anything. You see how many people we have here
Yeah.
for this show.
Yeah.
On a film set, it's like dialed to an 11.
Wow.
You know, you go through
Wow.
pre-production,
Yeah.
production, post-production.
Oh my
You
God.
know, 3 stages.
Yeah.
You start with the script. The script is always the star of any project.
That's the key.
That's the key, the
Wow.
script, you know? That is the driving force of your story that you're trying to tell,
Okay.
not the celebrity attached to it. The celebrity attached to it will sell you tickets at the box office, but your story
It's
will
kind of like
make or break the movie.
How do you, like, I really, I mean, big movies, like the big movies.
Right.
How do they think about the little details? Be it the names of the characters, be it the names of the cities, and they come up with these fictional things.
Yeah, that's where you let your creativity go all over the place and you try things, test groups, writing workshops.
Okay.
A lot of movies in the first cut, it's
Okay.
like 10 hours long.
Wow.
We want to cut it down to 2 hours.
Oh my God.
You know, it's a long process. You know,
But it's worth it. It's worth it.
A short film for me, it took me because of COVID, took me 3 years to finish. You know,
Well, good for you.
yeah.
Deep question incoming. Get ready.
Okay.
Ahmed, let's imagine Ahmed can time travel.
Ooh.
All right. So you time travel and you go back and you're sitting in that room and watching that little kid filming the first YouTube video. And you can tell him one thing to change. What will you change?
Don't change.
Wow.
Don't change.
All right.
And try to never change who you are, not the show. That driving force that you had at that age, because I feel like I don't have it fully. I wish I was the same kid that I was at age 14. But as we age and grow, we just to get a little bit lazier at times, you know, for me at least. But the energy that child had, that teenager had, the dreams he had, the visions he had, I need to tell.
Why do you use past tense?
Past tense?
Yeah.
Because those are his visions I'm trying to tell.
No, you're saying the passion he had, the energy he had.
Oh. I feel like I took us 2 steps back after university and work and all that. I feel like I'm not as driven
Okay.
as before.
Because?
Life.
Supposed to get to know you deeper right now. Because of life.
Because of life. But the drive is there, the passion is there, the messages are there. Great things are coming.
What's next?
What's next?
Honest, realistic answers.
A film, hopefully.
How long?
And feature film.
How long is a feature film?
A feature film is an hour and a half, basically.
Oh my God. Okay,
Yeah.
you're going big now.
Yeah, you're talking about 90 pages and above in a
And
script term.
that's something you want to direct?
Direct and write.
Okay. Perhaps, listen, you know what? If I was you, I would use this episode as an actual goal.
Okay.
Give us a time frame
For what?
for your film.
Oh, well, there might be a film that come out sooner rather than later.
Fair?
Okay, but not the film that I want to make necessarily, if that makes sense.
So if you can use this episode as a visualization task.
Okay.
Okay, and perhaps in the future, just like you're gonna go back to your YouTube video, watch it and laugh at yourself, I'm sure you're gonna watch this episode at some day and you'll be like, haha, I promised myself and here I am.
Yeah.
Give us a time frame. Honestly.
Honestly, I would want to commit to something else. bringing back the night show to KTV2.
There we go.
That's my commitment. That's what I'm working on next.
Well, Ahmed, honestly, this can go on and on and on and
Yeah.
on. Thank you so much for this. I really, really appreciate your time. It's great knowing you on a deeper level.
Habibi.
I am sure you're gonna do great things.
Thank you.
And hopefully one day you'll be...
With you, I'll do amazing things.
Thanks, man. Hopefully one day I'll be on that stage and you'll be in the cinema. All right?
We'll see.
And we'll achieve
see.
our goals. All right, we'll wrap up this beautiful segment with Ahmed and we'll be back to wrap up each other.
Each other. Well, didn't I tell you this was going to be a special episode?
What an episode.
Right?
No, honestly, great.
The worst guest someone can have.
I think when you live life, it's very fast paced. And I think when you go to an episode after episode,
Right.
you actually tend to forget to look left and right and ask the people, just like the cameraman, the directors, the producers, actually ask them, talk to them and pretend like they're your guests.
Right.
And life can just, the day can drive the other day, and then a day becomes a month and a month becomes a year.
Absolutely.
So-
And when the producers pitched this idea to us, I liked it because
Yeah.
a lot of television personalities, hosts, especially on KTV,
Yeah.
they're always interviewing people.
Yes.
And you rarely get to know
Who they are.
who they are.
100%.
So we did that for you. Hopefully that was a fun
Yes.
episode. Next time we'll be joined by an actual guest. So do not worry, the Untold is continuing
Of course
right
it
here
is.
on KTV2.
All right.
But that's it for tonight's episode. Thank you for tuning in,
Thank you, Ahmed.
and we'll see you in the next one.
Good night.
Good night.